Okay, so in this video, for tonight's dinner, we're going to show you how to roast up the Chateaubriand kit. You're going to have a box that looks like this, labeled Chateaubriand kit. Before I get into this, let's turn on our pan, full heat, and let's set our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So our pan's heating up right now, and our oven's heating up right now. So in here you have your Chateaubriand, you have an herb kit, you have some butter, and you have a couple cloves of garlic. So you're going to take your steak out, and you're going to unwrap the plastic that's around it. Plastic's just to keep it from oxidizing. This steak has already been poached to rare, and we're going to finish it on the stove top and in the oven. So take it out on a tray, on some paper towel, and we're just going to blot the excess moisture off of it, just so when we go into our pan it doesn't spit and run the risk of catching fire. So you can see we got the excess moisture off of it. This steak was seasoned before we poached it in the restaurant, so this is ready to go, ready to sear right now. I took this out of the fridge probably 20 minutes ago, and it's been sitting at room temperature ever since, which is it'll give you a better cook if you do that. It'll be more even. So my pan's starting to get hot. I'm going to take a little bit of oil, probably about 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of oil. Put it in the pan. We can tell it shot out like spider webs, and I'm getting wisps of smoke on the edge. So it immediately got hot. We're going to bring this over, and we're going to sear every single side of the tenderloin, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. We'll probably spend about 1.5 minutes on all the sides here, and we're just going to kind of roll it in the pan like this, just so we get an even sear all the way around. So, hot pan, our meat's been blotted to get the excess moisture. We're going to, you can hear it goes in the pan, immediately starts searing. So it's in my pan right now. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not, but it's sizzling. As soon as I went in, I turned the heat down to about a medium heat, so we keep a constant heat on it while we roll it in the pan and sear it. You don't really want to mess with your meat too much. Just make sure that the side that's down is in full contact with the pan. And we just want to caramelize each side. It's real simple. Since the meat has been cooked in the bag, the sear is going to happen a lot more rapidly on this piece of meat. So in about 20 seconds, we're going to move it towards us. So you see I just flipped it. I just took a spoon and I just rotated it until there's a whole new section of the steak on it. And I know you can't see it, but it's nice and caramelized in the front here. We'll spend about another 45 seconds on this side, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. And really, if you think about it, it has 4 sides. It's like a block. So you can see this, and this, and this, and this. Okay, so our steak's on its last side right now. It's been on that side for about 45 seconds. So I'm going to get ready to baste it with the kit that we have in this Chateaubriand kit. So like I said, we've got our herb, we've got our butter, and we've got our garlic. So I'm going to go in right now with all this butter. And it's immediately going to start to kind of foam. Then I'm going to go in with my garlic. And once all the butter's melted and it's starting to foam all over, I'm going to go in with my herbs. We don't want to burn these. And at this point, you can either roll your steak in the butter back and forth, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste it, which you can do too. So we're going to go on with this. You'll hear all the oil start to come out of it as soon as it hits the fat. And then we're just basting our steak. We'll do this for about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. We just want to get all this beautiful butter all over it with the aromatics and everything. It'll give us a nicer caramelization too, because all the milk solids in the butter are going to stick to all the meat. So at this point, I'm going to turn the heat off. I have a little transfer tray I'm going to go onto in order to go into the oven. And then I'm going to spoon over a little bit more of this fat before it goes in the oven. So I like to save this fat, and after I slice the meat, I'm going to drizzle a little bit more on top. But for now, we're just going to have this turned off and set it to the side. This piece of meat is going to go into our 375 degree oven. I'd say this one right here is probably going to take about 7 minutes to 8 minutes. But depending on where the cut is on the tenderloin, if it's thicker than this, it's going to take 10-15 minutes, somewhere in that range. Okay, so it's been about 8 or 9 minutes, and our tenderloin is just going to come out of the oven now. So we can feel the tenderloin as a muscle. It's a very, very soft muscle. There's not much fat in it either. But it's going to feel like it's rare on the inside. But we're going to take it out now, and we're going to let it rest for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to slice it. It should be nice, perfect medium rare. So our tenderloin has rested for about 3 minutes now. And I can feel and see that it's still nice and juicy, but when we slice into it, the juices shouldn't run everywhere. We're going to take off the ties before we slice our meat. You can just snip them, try and they're a little elastic, so you can like pull them up away from the meat and then snip it so you're not slicing into your meat with your scissors. So take all these off, and then we are going to slice the meat. My scissors are a little dull, so this is taking me longer than it should. Sorry. And then the last one. Okay, so those are all done. So when you're doing this, you can slice it as thick or as thin as you'd like. I'm probably going to go about ½ an inch on it, because this way I want to eat this. Nice pink, juicy. Really delicious. So I'm gonna test the end piece. Needs a little bit of salt on top of it. Just line it up on our plate any way you'd like. I'm just gonna kind of alternate back and forth with it. I'm gonna wipe down my service, get all the grease off of it. In your bag you have some finishing salt that we're going to sprinkle on top of this. And then lastly, I already have warmed my cream mushrooms just in the microwave. So we are going to put those on top, along with a little bit of leftover basting butter. Just a little bit of this. It's just a nice, brown, toasty butter. It's got the flavor of the herbs and the garlic in it. It's really delicious. And then we're gonna open up our mushrooms, give them a stir, and then you can go on top. You don't have to use all these mushrooms if you don't want to. They're really, really delicious, especially if you have leftovers. If you want to do them in pasta or toss them with some dumplings or just eat them right out of this, they're great. The porcinis and morels are both from Mount Shasta, up north of here, and just really, really, really delicious. So that's it. That's our Chateaubriand with cream morels and porcinis. Really simple.